Well, Yves Golair, can I say first of all, it's wonderful to be here, and I know yesterday the deliberations were fantastic. The party's in great heart. Obviously, the media have their own focus, which they're entitled to have, but our focus is on plan for the future, and it's about how we continue to develop our party and strengthen our party and strengthen our influence throughout every one of Ireland's 32 counties. I think this year has been tremendous for us in Sinn Féin. The successful elections, which saw us go from 14 TDs to 23, was a spectacular success, in my view, and gave all of us, not just in the north but throughout the island, tremendous encouragement and confidence about our ability to build our party to even greater heights in the time ahead. And those people who have been elected in that election have done a tremendous job. They have been absolutely fantastic in the Dáil, articulating Republican policies on a whole range of issues that affect the people of this island. So I want to pay tribute to all of our TDs, all of our councillors, all of those individuals who work for us throughout the island of Ireland in every one of our 32 counties, day and daily. That is a sign of real growth, and I have every confidence that we're going to continue to go from strength to strength. The elections in the north were a particular disappointment for the Ulster Unionists and for the SDLP. They had high expectations that the criticisms that they had levelled against what they called the two largest parties in the Assembly would result in a drop in support for the DUP and Sinn Féin. Well, whenever the people went to the polls, they decided to put both the DUP and Sinn Féin into the lead as the parties to take the Assembly and the Executive forward. So the SDLP, the Ulster Unionists, the Alliance Party decided that they would opt out of government. Instead of a 5-party coalition, we are now in a 2-party coalition with the DUP. So why did the Ulster Unionists and the SDLP not join the administration? They didn't join the administration because they didn't have the election that they thought they were going to have. And they decided that the only way that they could have a prospect of increasing the political fortunes of those two parties was by staying outside of the Executive and criticising the Executive at every hand's turn. I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to work, and I think that the performance thus far clearly indicates that people in the north want to see good government, and they want to see the DUP and Sinn Féin working together to build a better future for the people in the north. So it has been an eventful summer, but then it always is. And as we plan and strategise our way through the coming period, I don't think there can be any doubt that Brexit is going to be the dominant political issue for some time to come, and one which I believe will have major implications right across this island. John O'Dowd has been appointed as the party's national spokesperson on Brexit, and I have no doubt that John will bring his usual tenacity and leadership to that role. He's just returned from the United States of America, and he got there before the British Secretary of State Brokenshire to brief our friends, of which there are many, on Capitol Hill. So that was a good day's work, and we're grateful to John for being there and articulating our position, a position which has tremendous support and sympathy in the United States. But of course the whole issue of Brexit isn't just something for John to pursue on his own. It's too big for that. The implications are so massive that it needs to be a priority for all of us. And while the problems with Brexit have been well rehearsed, it also provides an opportunity for a new debate about the constitutional future of our island and our relationship with Britain. And we need to lead that debate. We need to convince more and more people that it's in their best interests. Our better future is best served by taking control of our own destiny. So if and when the British government does trigger Article 50 of the Lisbon Treaty, there will obviously be a very difficult negotiation as to what terms of Brexit will actually be. And Theresa May can say what she likes about Brexit, meaning Brexit, but the fact is her government has no clue whatsoever about what that will look like in practice. Worse still, they have no plan to steer a course through the disaster that they have created. Theresa May can't give any guarantees about an open Irish border, free trade, or replacing EU funding, because all of that will be subject to negotiation with other EU states. The only way to guarantee those things is for the North to stay within the EU. That is our very firm position. That is the position of the electorate in the North, and it will remain our position. So if the British government believes that the aim of the negotiations is to secure some kind of soft landing or an easy Brexit, I have to say I do not believe that that is possible. There is no such thing as an easy Brexit. Nevertheless, Sinn Féin will enter those negotiations on the same basis as the Scottish Government, to defend the democratic mandate of our people to remain in the European Union. It is our sincere hope that the other European nations will not abandon the people of the North and Scotland, who democratically voted to remain. As for the Irish Government, they must act in the interests of the entire island of Ireland. They must urgently establish the long-promised forum. And that forum should not be about managing or minimising the negative effects of Brexit on the island of Ireland, because there is no way to manage or minimise the negative impact of Brexit. The forum should be established to examine the implications of the British referendum and, critically, all options for defending the interests of Ireland and the Irish people by ensuring that the North remains part of the EU along with the rest of Ireland. So we in Sinn Féin will bring our own perspective to those discussions, but we will also listen in an open and constructive manner to the views of others, because there are alternatives, and let me repeat this point. There is no soft, positive or good outcome from Brexit. I do also want to take some time to comment on the recent events surrounding Daithí Mackay and his resignation as a member of the Assembly. And let me say that Daithí is someone who I have a lot of time for. He was a hard-working, intelligent and committed MLA. But his actions were wrong, and they were entirely unacceptable, and it was a very unfortunate episode. But what's done is done, and as a party we have to put it behind us and we have to move on as we return to Assembly business. And in this term, Sinn Féin will be seeking to build on the good work of previous years. Our ministers, Marcin, Michelle, Chris and Megan, in partnership with our 28 MLAs, an entire Assembly team, will continue to be the vanguard of progressive change and equality in the north of Ireland. Of course, we do so in a hostile environment. We face a Tory administration in London which is wedded to austerity and which has repeatedly slashed our budget. And now we have an SDLP Ulster Unionist Party opposition which seems determined to continue their strategy of opposing anything and everything by walking away from the central aspect of the Good Friday Agreement, by surrendering their executive entitlement in order to join the likes of Jim Allister on the opposition benches. But we Republicans have never been afraid of hostile environments, and we won't be deterred from continuing to pursue our rights based on equality. We're in a power-sharing government with the DUP, and as we all know, they are diametrically opposed to us on many issues. But despite these differences, we are agreed and united in our determination to deliver better government for all of our people. And with the problem parties now opting out of government, the dysfunctionality of the executive has been removed, and we're beginning to see the benefits of the Fresh Start approach. So look what we achieved in terms of the $585 million package in the Fresh Start agreement to protect the most vulnerable in our society. Look at Michelle O'Neill's recent decisions, lifting the lifetime ban on gay men becoming blood donors, and to award a long-sought pay increase for health workers, and of course announced the way forward for the All-Ireland Congenital Heart Disease Network, and is committed to further scope opportunities for all-island cooperation in health and social care. She's also leading an ambitious programme to reform our health service in the north and finally end the constant cycle of crisis which has been characteristic of all previous ministers. Chris Hazard has taken forward key projects, including the A5 and A6 roads, that will finally redress the historic infrastructure inequalities that have negatively impacted on nationalist communities for generations. Megan Fearon is involved in the removal of some interface walls in terms of building a better society and promoting better relations between our communities through the Together Building United Community strategy. And of course in Martina Muller we have for the first time a Sinn Féin finance minister giving us massive influence over government spending and priorities, giving us an opportunity to change the way business is done in the north and to put fairness and social justice at the heart of government. And of course something close to my heart, which I am delighted we've been able to progress the Home Place Centre in Balahi, celebrating the life and works of the late great Seamus Heaney, which received executive funding and will soon be open to the public. And I also pay tribute to our councillors on the new Middle Ulster Council because they led the way in this project, and something like £4.5 million between the executive and the local council have been put into that centre. It's a state-of-the-art centre, and it is something which will draw, I think, massive tourists to Balahi. And of course, one of the more interesting aspects of Seamus Heaney's home place, which will be a repository for many of his works, is that it's actually on the site of the former RUC barracks in Balahi. And if anybody has ever read Seamus's fantastic poem, A Constable Calls, I think they will understand the significance of all of that. So that's a tremendous project, and it will open officially on the 30th of September in just 2 weeks' time. There are elements of Fresh Start which still need to be addressed, particularly dealing with the legacy of conflict. And this is an ongoing priority for Sinn Féin, and it is unacceptable that the British government still refuses to release the required funding to facilitate scores of inquests despite repeated requests from the Lord Chief Justice. However, our efforts have been continuing over the summer, and we are pressing the British government to break the impasse over their insistence on unnecessary and frankly ludicrous protections over so-called national security. So I will be meeting with the new British Secretary of State, James Brokenshire, on Monday. And this work on legacy remains an ongoing piece of work, and one that we hope can be resolved in the near future to finally unlock all of the other good progress that was made in terms of legacy at the time of the Stormont House and Fresh Start negotiations. Of course, we are further seized of the need for a thorough and transparent All-Ireland investigation into the NAMA scandal. The issue is not going away, and we intend to continue to rigorously pursue the need for the lid to be lifted on this debacle. I welcome the prospect of MLAs being invited to attend the Public Accounts Committee hearings in Dublin, but I believe we must go much further on a cross-border basis if we are to get to the entire truth of the matter. As a party, we are also currently assessing the recent Boundary Commission recommendations, which will obviously have an impact on how we fight elections in the time ahead. That work is ongoing, but a few people have told me that anything that leaves Gregory Campbell potentially scrapping for a seat can't be all bad. Finally, we are currently in the process of formulating a new programme for government, for which the first time will be outcomes-based, and this shift in focus has been widely welcomed by stakeholders and sectors who have seen its success in Scotland and share our view that despite all the challenges, it is still possible to transform our society for the better. And of course, we had an executive meeting on Wednesday, and we decided in a joint paper from Chris Hazard, our Infrastructure Minister, and Michelle McElveen, the Agriculture Minister, that there will be no water charges imposed on the people of the North in the next term of the Assembly. it's all about delivery, but these are exciting times for us as a political party. There are, of course, many challenges for us to overcome, and many opportunities ahead for us to seize. And I think we're emboldened by the quality that we have within our party, the quality of our TDs, the quality of our MLAs, our councillors north and south, our political activists in every one of Ireland's 32 counties. We've never been in better shape than we are at the moment, and we are a party going from strength to strength. So we do so with tremendous confidence in our own ability, but tremendous confidence in our ability to ensure that we as a political party not alone continue to deliver for the people of Ireland and to deliver on our political objectives, but to stay united through all of that and to work our way through the massive challenges that lie ahead. The progress this year has been tremendous. When the next elections come, it will be even more tremendous. So it's up to all of us to ensure that we continue to keep our shoulders to the wheel so that we can truly say that we've made every effort to fundamentally change the politics of this island. Gurmila, Mila Maragov.